All right, everyone. Welcome to this fun and super slow-paced Spanish lesson. Today, we're learning something essential jobs, or las profesiones in Spanish. We'll take one job name in English, then give you the Spanish word, and finally, we'll use it in a simple example. Remember, I'm speaking slowly so you can follow along, and we'll have some laughs too. Ready? Let's jump in. 1. Teacher. In Spanish, teacher is maestro for a male teacher or maestra for a female teacher. The teacher teaches math. El maestro enseña matemáticas. Fun fact, teachers in Spain traditionally get
Jamón.
which is a ham, as a gift. Imagine gifting your teacher a giant ham for Christmas. Pretty awesome, right? 2. Doctor. The word for doctor in Spanish is doctor for both men and women. It's easy, right? Just say it with a little Spanish flair, doctor. The doctor helps sick people. El doctor ayuda a las personas enfermas. And here's a joke. What do you call a doctor with a bad attitude? A profesor. Wait, that's a pun in English, but it works, right? 3. Engineer. In Spanish, engineer is
Ingeniero.
for a man and
Ingeniera.
for a woman. The engineer builds bridges. El ingeniero construye puentes. Here's a thought. If engineers build bridges, why aren't they called bridgeneers? Okay, moving on. 4. Chef. In Spanish, chef is simply chef. Yep, no need to overthink this one. The chef cooks amazing food. El chef cocina comida increíble. By the way, did you know that in Spain, some chefs make
Paella.
so giant they cook it with shovels instead of spoons? Serious business. 5. Nurse. The word for nurse is
Enfermero.
for a male nurse or
Enfermera.
for a female nurse. The nurse takes care of patients. El enfermero cuida a los pacientes. Imagine this. What if nurses handed out stickers like dentists do? That would be fun. You got a flu shot? Here's a gold star. 6. Firefighter. Firefighter is bombero for men and bombera for women in Spanish. The firefighter saves lives. El bombero salva vidas. A quick laugh. What do you call a fire department in Spain? Bombero Central. No, that's not a joke. It's literally the name. 7. Lawyer. In Spanish, lawyer is abogado for a man and abogada for a woman. The lawyer defends the client. El abogado defiende al cliente. Here's a little humor in Spanish. Abogado sounds a lot like
Aguacate.
which means avocado. So, don't call your lawyer a fruit by mistake unless they really like guacamole. 8. Artist. Artist in Spanish is artista. The good news? It's the same word for both men and women. The artist paints beautiful pictures. El artista pinta cuadros hermosos. Now imagine an artist painting with
Tortilla.
chips instead of brushes. That could be the start of a genuine art movement in Spain. 9. Writer. Writer in Spanish is escritor for a man and escritora for a woman. The writer writes novels. El escritor escribe novelas. Fun tip. If you're ever stuck writing in Spanish, just blame the keyboard. Sí, la culpa es del teclado. 10. Musician. The word for musician is musico for a male, musician and musica for a female musician. The musician plays the guitar. El músico toca la guitarra. Fun fact, Spain is the birthplace of flamenco, a passionate music and dance style. Picture a musician playing a flamenco guitar while someone dances dramatically. Now that's Spain for you. 11. Scientist. Scientist in Spanish is científico for a man and científica for a woman. The scientist studies the stars. El científico estudia las estrellas. Here's a fun thought. If a scientist discovers a star, do they get to name it after their dog? Imagine a star called Sparky shining in the galaxy. 12. Actor. In Spanish, actor is
Actor.
for men and
Actriz.
for women. The actor performs in movies. El actor actúa en películas. Fun fact, Antonio Banderas, a famous Spanish actor, originally wanted to be a soccer player. Good thing he chose acting instead. 13. Pilot. The Spanish word for pilot is piloto. It's the same for both men and women. The pilot flies the airplane. El piloto vuela el avión. Joke time. Why did the pilot bring a ladder? To reach a higher altitude. Okay, I'll stop. 14. Farmer. Farmer in Spanish is
Granjero.
for men and
Granjera.
for women. The farmer grows vegetables. El granjero cultiva vegetales. Fun fact, in Spain, some farmers grow giant pumpkins for competitions. Imagine a pumpkin so big it needs its own truck to be moved. That's dedication. 15. Architect. In Spanish, architect is
Arquitecto.
for a man and
Arquitecta.
for a woman. The architect designs buildings. El arquitecto diseña edificios. Did you know that Antoni Gaudí, a famous Spanish architect, designed the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona? It's still not finished after more than 140 years. Patience is key. 16. Dentist. Dentist in Spanish is dentista, same for men and women. The dentist fixes your teeth. El dentista arregla tus dientes. A joke. Why did the dentist become a musician? Because they love instruments. Get it? Dental instruments. Okay, moving on. 17. Driver. In Spanish, driver is
Conductor.
for men and
Conductora.
for women. The driver drives the bus. El conductor conduce el autobús. Fun fact, the longest bus route in Spain is over 1,000 kilometers. That's a road trip and a half. 18. Mechanic. Mechanic in Spanish is mecánico for a man and mecánica for a woman. The mechanic fixes cars. El mecánico arregla coches. Here's a funny one. Why did the mechanic bring a ladder? To reach the high voltage. Okay, maybe not too funny, but hey, it's car humor. 19. Journalist. Journalist in Spanish is,
Periodista.
and that works for both men and women. The journalist writes the news. El periodista escribe las noticias. Fun fact, in Spain, journalists often end their reports with "Eso es todo por hoy," or "That's all for today." Catchy, right? 20. Photographer. Photographer in Spanish is fotógrafo for a man and fotógrafa for a woman. The photographer takes pictures. El fotógrafo toma fotos. Imagine a photographer who only takes pictures of food. They'd be forever hungry. A true job hazard. 21. Veterinarian. The word for veterinarian in Spanish is veterinario for a man and veterinaria for a woman. The veterinarian helps animals. El veterinario ayuda a los animales. Fun thought. What if veterinarians had office assistants who were trained parrots? Polly will see you now. That'd make every visit unforgettable. 22. Plumber. Plumber in Spanish is fontanero for a man and fontanera for a woman. The plumber fixes pipes. El fontanero arregla tuberías. Quick laugh. Why did the plumber quit his job? He found it too draining. 23. Police officer. Police officer in Spanish is policía, and it works for both men and women. The police officer keeps the city safe. El policía mantiene la ciudad segura. Fun fact, Spanish police officers are often seen patrolling on horseback. Talk about a stylish way to keep law and order. 24. Carpenter. Carpenter in Spanish is carpintero for a man and carpintera for a woman. The carpenter makes furniture. El carpintero hace muebles. Here's a humorous one. What did the carpenter say about his latest? Chair? I'm on the edge of my seat. Get it? Chair humor. 25. Scientist. Scientist in Spanish is científico for a man and científica for a woman. The scientist conducts experiments. El científico realiza experimentos. Fun fact, did you know that in Spain, many breakthroughs in renewable energy were made by scientists? Science is literally helping save the planet. 26. Actor. Actor in Spanish is
actor,
for a man and
Actriz.
for a woman. The actor performs on stage. El actor actúa en el escenario. Quick joke, why don't actors ever get satisfaction? Because they're always in a play. All right, amigos, keep practicing these professions and try making your own sentences. Remember, learning a new language is like building a house one word at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Hasta luego.